So today I want to spend a little bit of time going over what I see as a timeline for the next couple of years. And I had some staff and the deputies do this outline, and it got uploaded to our portal, to the G Drive yesterday, so you can share it with your staff, go over with them, print it off if you want it. But this is some of the significant things that we anticipate happening now through to 2022, so 3 years. Part of the reason for the 3 years is because we know that we are in constant change, but we know we also have to have a sort of implementation plan, and when the plan, have some check-ins to see how we're doing. So part of the rationale for the chart is some things that we're doing, but also check-ins for things that we've done. I think all of us that have been here for a while know that we're kind of on the checking in on things we're done, we're kind of hit and miss. We're not consistent in validating the premises on the changes that we made. I like to put a little bit more meat to that bone and to build that process in a little bit, so that the things that we're proposing and we're thinking through, that you and your committees are thinking through, had the effect that you thought they had when we did them, right? So this is more of a collaborative process. This is sort of our kickoff meeting, so you can introduce this to your staff. We are going through a significant change, and we're going to do a significant reorganization. So the first thing is that we're reorganizing the majority of our branches from the current structure to a structure that will be more conducive to how we do work in the centralized campus. So what the deputies and I have done is we've met and discussed this for over a couple of months, and we're reorganizing basically the public assistance branches into a more function-centered as opposed to program-centered organization. Child welfare will still be child welfare, right? APS, the adults branch, will change in that it'll be concentrated more on IHSS and APS, and move some of the eligibility functions down to the assistance side. The CalWorks functions will be pulled out, or we're calling case management functions. The things where a person carries a caseload, a lot of those will be moved over to a division that will be headed by Maria Geary. Linda Duchesne will head a division, or the branch, that does all of our intake and responsible for all of our upfront processes. And Noralia Gomez will be responsible for all the ongoing programs. So everything after the case is approved, and then she'll be responsible for that. With that change, we're reorganizing the managers based on some of their skill set, also based on the number of direct reports each program is going to have, and also based on the experience, because people have different experience in different programs. So we're making that change. I think most of you have been made aware of some of the manager changes. There's a whole list of them. I won't go over all those today because I don't include it in my slides, but secondly, I want the managers to walk you through that. The unit functions will pretty much stay the same. It's just who they're going to report to in the new campus or in the new location. Some assignments might change. We're starting the 237 process for that, because there's some things like in some of the district offices, there are people that might be doing more combo, and we need to separate that out because they're going to be reporting to different people. This is a reporting structure change, not a change on how we're going to do the work. How we do the work is something that we have to work on as we transition to the campus and as we go through that process. And so that is significant. It is the biggest change, or the biggest thing that's happened to the department in our recent memory. But it really, I think it's going to set the department up going to the next 20 years, 25 years in the future. It is how a lot of the larger county, so we're a large county, and there's 6 counties bigger than us. Those other 6 counties pretty much organized along this line, except for LA, because LA is so huge. They have regions, and in the regions they're organized like us. So this is kind of following that pattern, okay? After this kickoff, then your managers will start going over all the details, and we need to flesh out all the details what that means. Okay, the timeline that we prepared is an overview for all that, and it includes not just the transition to the Clovis campus, but also the transition that we're going to go through in our regional offices as we upgrade them, and major changes that we're going to have, such as CalSAWS, childcare, and eventually we'll hopefully get some information where we can put some meat on the bones on the CalCares for the children's services. So all these things are in here, and I want to go over some highlights with you. Can I move? So first, starting in January, we sent the changes to the managers. We've already informed the managers. We completed a satisfaction survey for the building that we currently occupy in the campus. And we began our planning for CalSAWS. And as you can see, we have LTS function requirements that we have to collect. And we continue with the process with PCG. You go to February, which is next month, we'll start making supervisor assignments to the new management structure based on meetings you're going to have after this. We'll do some OCM implementation support evaluation. We're fortunate in our CalWIM migration that we have some of our staff that are on the procurement evaluation teams for the contracts to support our transition. Hopefully they can evaluate based on our business model, so that when the training comes out, the support comes out, and some of the ancillary services that come out, it's as conducive to our current business model as possible. So that was part of that. On February 25th, we are going to go to the board and get approval to start the TI for the child welfare building. That's about 2 years ahead of schedule. Right, so once we get that approval, we will have a complete plan for the campus. We will still have to do a plan for Reedley, I believe. Correct, Kent? We have a plan for Selma. We also have a parking plan that will be approved at that time. So at that time, people will understand all the parking we're going to have. We're adding hopefully about 600 parking spots on top of what we already have. Actually, 1,200 parking spots between the two locations. Once we get that done, then we'll start going through the bidding process to get the subcontractors to do the work. This has caused a lot of angst amongst the executive staff because we were planning on budgetarily doing that next year, but we're doing it this year. So we've done a lot of planning over the holidays to get that done, to deliver a complete product to all of our employees and to our clients, and to get out of some of the leases that we're in. So that was great work on part of staff. Hopefully, the end of this month, we'll finalize the move order to B1, the public building. What I'm hoping is to do it in 1 or 2 large chunks so that we don't have a lot of disruption for our clients, so that we don't have to worry about scaling down the lobby and impacting a different lobby. I think it'll be easier messaging that to the staff that beginning this day, always go to this other building. For those of you that haven't been out to the campus, we'll have the bus parking done by then, or where they're going to route, how the bus flow is going to go. That construction will be all done. And then we're going to, basically by the end of this month, we'll know the number of people that we're going to move at once. My hope is that we can do that in 1 or 2 chunks of folks. We might have to shut down for a couple of days when we move in October to get everybody over, but hopefully that we'll have a finalized plan. In March, we're going to take the new organizational structure to the labor management group at that meeting that we have with them to go over this a little bit more detail with them. We pre-met with some of them yesterday. Didn't receive major negative feedback, but we're hoping that by providing as much transparency and reassuring people that we're in this plan, we're reorganizing, we're not downsizing, right? We're setting the department for the future, right? We're setting the department up for how it's going to operate in future years. So there's going to be a lot of movement, but the work, how the units work, how each individual employee works, it's still going to continue to be the same. As you can see, there's other things in there. We have to begin like our conversion efforts for CalWIN. We have to implement extended childcare. We're going to start doing some noticing to the public. We're going to start in the next month, which would be April, sending our notices to labor management for any PPG changes we're going to make, because we'll be making some of those in support of the new transition. One important thing to note, that in April we anticipate starting to receive a bulk purchase of laptops that we're going to have. In the new concept, each individual employee is going to be assigned a laptop that's going to be individual imaged to their workflow. And so this changes a couple of things. First, it gives an opportunity to move people a little easier because they take their image with them. It gives us the ability to use the lobby strategically, because then we don't have to do a lot of changes to the system that's been in the lobby. The worker will just, if you got to work at a window one day, you just plug it in there and it'll bring your image up. If you're going to be in an interview booth for half a day, you can do that. I'm hoping that in the future, when one of you all is director, right, that system, then workers can self-control a bit more their work environment. We have already set up what do they call them, the bar stools or the bar tables, and the common work areas are being prepped, or that they're there to lay out for the future. If somebody wants to work for a couple hours at one of those outside of the cubicles, then they can network in because they're going to be based on their laptop. This also begins to give us the opportunity to experiment with teleworking and to come up with a teleworking plan for our staff. My hope is that every day we'll have a significant number of our staff. I'm hoping up to 20% of our staff work from home. As long as we can measure their work and be accountable for their work, then I would like to do that. Not all positions will be able to do that, but I believe a majority of the eligibility and social worker positions will be able to do that. Okay? We're in April. We left out all the budget stuff in there. I don't know why. We're gonna do some testing on LTS. In July, we have a CalFresh ME. We're gonna do a lot of deduplication efforts, a lot of data cleanup, starting pretty soon. In August, we're gonna hopefully begin some dry runs of the use of the lobby. So it's gonna be a new system. We're gonna have different flat traffic flows. So we're scheduled to occupy the building in October, but we want to start doing dry runs in August, and that way we can test as much out as we can, and if we need to make changes to the system or how the flow works, we can do that before the public comes in. We'll begin installing furniture in B3, the adults building, the call center building. So we'll be occupying two buildings at the same time, or right around the same time. So a lot of change for the department. I think in October, there's only 4 things in there, but those are 4 big things, right? Because that's when the majority of the bulk of our folks are going to be moving, right? I think for all of you, one of the things that you need to be aware of, that we base this timeline based on our budget, based on when construction was going to be done, and to give ISD enough time to put the network in and all those things. But that is our hard date, because then we base the termination of our exit leases on that. So I hope most of you don't plan on taking vacations, right? That we plan on being at work as much as possible, right? I was going to go on a cruise. Hopefully it won't be in October, right? But this is a big rollout date for us. We will do, in Building 2, we did an open house for the families, right? In Building 2, they got to, I don't know who brought their family in the night we did the open house, right? We're going to do something similar for 1 and 3. Well, your staff and those of you assigned to that building will be able to come in late one afternoon. You can show them where your new workspace is going to be. You can be, I know people brought their parents in, brought their kids in. I brought my wife. My kids want to come visit me. But I think that'll be a great thing, because people won't know what this means. It means a lot to you, but they don't know what it means to you. And it'll give them the opportunity to see some of that. Hopefully the majority of staff will be in October. The furniture install for B3 will be completed in November, and in December we'll be into B3. So less than a year from now, about 65% of our staff will be on the Clovis campus. Have CalSAWS activities, because that gets into the CalSAWS season. We also have to have a CalORS plan in, which we done in that month and turned in. In 2021, we will begin the plan to move staff to B5. B5 is what we're calling the child welfare building. And then we have to, the ABOD waiver ends in 2021, which will create work for the eligibility staff. The second quarter review of Building 1 and Building 3 operations will occur in April 2021. We go out, we have CalSAWS conversions in March and June. In July, we install the furniture in B5. We do the next review of the operation of Building 1 and 3. We occupy Building 5 in September 2021. We begin installing the furniture in September, so it takes a few months once we occupy. We're going to do another evaluation of our business processes, all the changes we made in October. In November, we continue, and this is really, we're getting into the heavy prep for CalSAWS migration. So you can see in 2022, in March of 2022, we're going to review all the operations. We'll be in the campus. We'll have, I believe, all of our remodels done. And then we start, we have the first CalOR progress report. And in May of 2022, we start our actual formal training for our migration to CalSAWS for all the staff that's affected. And then jump towards the end when we migrate to CalSAWS. In November of 2022 is our go live for CalSAWS. Hopefully that'll be seamless. We've done so much transition, so much prep that that'll be a drop the mic moment for the department, right? Because you all do such a fantastic job. Clients won't even know, right? All the lobbies will be empty, because you guys did such a great job. So those are the two things that are happening. I wanted to give this to you, show it to you, give my version of the explanation, download it, review it, go over it with your staff. If you have questions, send them to your managers, to your DDs, so we can start vetting those questions out. There are a lot of things happening, both operationally, physically, and on the regulation side that we have to do in the next 3 years. And I wanted to be proactive and share my this is what I think about, this is what we all need to think about, but most importantly, this is what we need to inform our staff about, because this is their work, this changes how they work, and impacts them, hopefully in a positive way. The intent of this relocation was to improve the working conditions for our employees, improve your working conditions, and also to provide a better service to our clients. So that's the framework for this. That's why we're not just doing the main campus. We're changing Selma and Reedley, we changed Kerman, and if we didn't have such a long lease in Kalinga, we would have done something different in Kalinga. With Kalinga's, we're basically there till 2030 almost. So, but hopefully whoever's the director in 2030, I think Linda's gonna be driving my golf cart around by then. We'll take that opportunity to make it along the same lines that we've done this one. I want to thank Linda, Kent, Stacy, and Catherine. They're the ones that have come up with, work with the planning, ISD, finance, the architect, the developer, the CAO's office, and coming up with this plan and really sort of taking my ideas and implementing them. So I want you guys to give them a round of applause. They deserve so much for that. But now the rest of it's on us, right? We have to make it a successful transition. It's our responsibility to take basically the $100 million that the county let us have and make it worth their while, right? Translate that to a positive experience for our clients, better outcomes for our clients, more security for our children, more security for your staff, and I'm hoping that the long term it translates to more longevity for our employees, that they want to stay with us a little longer, work with us, partner with us, and hopefully reduce our turnover a little bit. One of the things, and I don't want to de-emphasize this, when we go to this laptop environment where everybody gets assigned their own mobile device, it opens up a lot of opportunities for the department. It also puts a new responsibility on the employee, because with the desktop, it's kind of bolted to their desk, right? The laptop is assigned to a person. We've done it a lot in IHSS and child welfare. We haven't had major issues. But when you go from having 500 to 2,500, we need to be proactive in monitoring those, okay? And I want to make that a great investment for the county. I don't want to give the county an opportunity for us to make us revert to the past, right? I want us to be forward thinking and give them the opportunity to be forward thinking with us.